Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday. What is today's date? It is March 17th. It is a Wellness Wednesday for those of us teaching here in Henrico County. So I'm teaching from home and doing some things from home today. But I was just doing some Bible study this morning and um, hadn't done a video in a little while. And I'm not making a video just to make a video, but I've started into Hebrews chapter 7, which is where the author of Hebrews starts really digging deep and going in on the Melchizedek priesthood. And there's just some really cool stuff that's one cool thing that really hopped out at me this morning that I thought was really interesting. I thought I'd share it, and I thought I would just I don't know, throw it out there to you, and maybe there's something practical in there. Before I hop into that, I did want to say that if you watch this today or tomorrow, possibly, just be in prayer. I have a really close friend. He's my brother, like my spiritual brother, like not my biological brother, but my, you know what I'm saying, just one of those people that's really close as a brother. And he's got a big interview tomorrow, so I just wanted to just throw it out there. Not going to give a name or anything like that. Just he's got a big interview tomorrow, and just if you would think about this person, just take a second and just pray for calm, clarity, and connection in that interview. So, anyways, there's that. So, anyways, also wanted to well, let me just hop in here. So I'm reading here at the beginning of chapter 7 where we start talking about this Melchizedek priesthood, right? That is like Christ's. So, or yeah, the guy, the character Melchizedek, who is from the Old Testament, how his priesthood was like Jesus' priesthood, right? So in the day of the early, not the early church, I guess the pre-church, right? In the time of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, when the tribe of Levi had been all the tribes had been born, and the tribe of Levi became the priestly lines. The tribe of Levi actually was the one tribe that contained all the priests. So if you think about all the church preachers today, and give it an analogy to way back thousands of years ago, back in the early pre-church days before Jesus, the tribe of Levi contained all the people who were the priests. They did all the religious ceremony. That was their job, right? So, anyways, that's just a little bit of background. Now, when Abraham encountered Melchizedek, and I think that was Genesis 22, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was right. I'll run across it here. I didn't write it down, so anyhow, I'll see it. I'll see it in my notes here in just a second. But anyhow, when Abraham encountered Melchizedek, the Levitical priesthood had not yet been conceived yet. Um, so there was a priesthood, so to speak, on the planet, and it was whatever priesthood that Abraham had himself. But there was also this Melchizedek priesthood that evidently existed, at least in time, right? So the discussion of the Melchizedek priesthood is: what is it? Who is it? What does it mean for you and me? It has a ton of meaning for you and me today. But let me just jump back and talk about a little bit about why the Melchizedek priesthood was so great and why it is so great. I'm going to read a couple of verses here from Hebrews 7:1 through how far are we going to go? I think through verse 3. I'm gonna read a little bit more than that. So Hebrews 7, I'm gonna start in 1. It says, "For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, who met Abraham as he was returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him, to whom also Abraham apportioned a tenth of all the spoils, was first of all, by the translation of his name, King of Righteousness." So Melchizedek is a Hebrew name, and it's made up of two words, Malik and Sedek, right? So I've known people whose names today, even today, I've known people named Malik. And I've looked at them and said, "Did you know your name in Hebrew means king?" And I've known people whose name was Sadiq. And I said, "Did you know your name in Hebrew means righteousness?" So Melech and Sedek are going to come together as Melchizedek, right? And it means king of righteousness. He was the king of a town called Salem, which is actually very close to the Hebrew word for peace, which is shalom. Now, in Greek, in the New Testament, usually peace is translated out as the word eirene, and that's where the English name, if you know anybody named Irene, their name is pulled from that Greek word for peace, eirene. So anyhow, the king of righteousness, right? Melchizedek was the king of peace. So you can see even in those names how you can kind of get a sense of like, oh, maybe, man, this maybe is talking about Jesus, king of righteousness, king of peace. So I thought that was pretty neat, right? So, so Melchizedek, this is what I noticed here, and I think I'm correct. I don't think I'm wrong. Wherever I've noticed the references to Melchizedek in the Bible, he is referred to as a priest. Okay, when I hear Jesus referred to as this priest in the Melchizedek priesthood, he's referred to as the high priest. So I thought that was interesting, and then I ran onto some commentary that said that there are actually lots of scholars who believe that the Melchizedek priesthood may very well be a priesthood that is made up of supernatural beings. It is thought that Melchizedek may have been an angelic being in the Old Testament, because it does talk about him being without father, without mother, and even without genealogy, right? So he was sort of a created being, a person directly, or a personage, a being created directly by God, and he was supernatural in nature. And he was created, and God placed Melchizedek in this priesthood of angels, right? So it's thought that the Melchizedek priesthood is a priesthood that is comprised of angels, with Jesus as the high priest of that priesthood. I don't have a lot more outside of that, but I just thought that was really, really interesting. One other thing I want to point out here is that the Bible points out, let me keep reading here. King of righteousness, who was also the king of Salem, which is the king of peace, without father, without mother, without genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like the Son of God, he remains a priest perpetually. That perpetually means ongoing, right? It goes on and on and on and on and on. Now observe how great this man was, to whom Abraham, the patriarch, gave a tenth of the choicest spoils. So isn't it interesting that Father Abraham, if you're a believer in Jesus Christ, Abraham is your ancestor, right? He's not just the ancestor of the Jews. If I am a Christian, I am grafted into the olive branch. I have been adopted into sonship, into the Jewish nation, and so have you. If you are a Christian, we're that wild olive shoot, right? So the thing I want to point out here is that the Bible notes that Abraham paid tithe to Melchizedek, right? The Levitical nation had not yet been born, okay? And I think it even says, I'm going to keep on reading here. And those indeed are the sons of Levi who receive the priest's office have commandment in the law to collect a tenth from the people. So the Levites were supposed to collect tithes from their brethren, although these are descended from Abraham. So the Levites were supposed to be the ones collecting tithes, not Melchizedek. But the one whose genealogy is not traced from them collected a tenth from Abraham and blessed the one who had the promise, right? But without any dispute, the lesser is blessed by the greater. In this case, mortal men receive tithes, but in that case, one receives them of whom it is witnessed that he lives on. And so to speak, so through Abraham, even Levi, who received tithes, paid tithes, for he was still in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him. Now, Abraham his line had not yet conceived Levi. So it was said that Levi was still in the loins of Abraham, right? So in this way, you've got the tribe of Levi, the human priestly line is paying honor to this priesthood, the Melchizedek priesthood, of whom Jesus is the high priest. And I just thought, my goodness gracious, that is just absolutely interesting, because Jesus is still alive today. Jesus is still our Melchizedek high priest. He is still the priest of a line of priests that are what I believe to be supernatural in nature. And Abraham paid his tithes. Our father Abraham paid his tithes directly to Christ, right? He gave honor to Jesus. Even in the Old Testament, before Jesus had actually been born, Messiah was present, right? And I just think that's, I don't know, it's just kind of making my head explode a little bit. It's just super cool. So anyways, what does that mean for you and I? It means that paying honor to Jesus is an ancient rite. Even when Jesus had not yet been born, even when the Levitical priesthood had not yet been conceived, Abraham was paying honor to Christ. So Jesus is the same forever. He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, right? He is an eternal God. He's an eternal being, and he deserves our honor and our love. And I wish I lived my life in such a way that really every day honored him like it should. But I'm gonna keep trying, right? So anyways, I don't know what that means for you. I don't know what that means for your life right now. I don't know if you needed to hear that, but I just thought it was cool. I thought it was really interesting. So anyways, love you guys, and I hope all is well. Spring is coming here, right? Spring is upon us, so definitely looking forward to some of this warm weather. So love you guys, and we will see you soon.